Yo, what up guys, Toxico here. Hey, I have another video for you guys, some rogue arenas and some duels with some commentary. You know what to do, just hit that like button and let's get started with the video. So starting off here, we're fighting a hunter and a druid. I'm looking for him. Usually they're hiding in the flare. With spell batching, I'm not sure how it's going to be when they change it, but you can usually cheap shot them in the flare if you're fast enough. So I go ahead and cheap shot into a kidney. I'm trying to let the mage sheep while the druid's kidney, but he can't dispel anyway, so he got silent shot there, so he wasn't able to get the sheep, but we got the druid's trinket, so that's pretty good. So now I'm just waiting stealth, waiting on my DRs. I'm going to go ahead and cheap shot this hunter so the mage can get a sheep, and then he's off DR now on the druid, so I'm trying to get a cheap shot as fast as I can. Go ahead and get it, and I'm going to kidney, and from here I want to blind the hunter because he trinketed, and hopefully the mage can get a nice shatter and we can end the game here. Mage does get some damage off, but the druid gets around the corner. But luckily I don't have the pet on me, so I'm able to get a re-stealth. And I'm going to go around the other side of the corner and try to shadow step Garrote him. I end up getting flared out, but the druid dies anyway, so it was pretty much over from there. So yeah, this team we're fighting another hunter priest. This opener didn't go as good, but I wanted to show it because sometimes you're not always going to get the ideal opener. I go ahead and try to cheap shot the hunter, but I wasn't able to, so I go ahead and blind him. And I trinketed that trap, which was kind of bad, but luckily I resisted that fear. And I go ahead and keep going on the priest. I try to gouge him, let the mage get another sheep. And you saw me kind of line the hunter there. I was trying to avoid the scatter shot. And I'm able to stun the priest here, so the hunter has to trinket. From here, I'm just trying to get the priest as low as I can. Even though he has PS, he doesn't have fear for 6 seconds, so I'm really trying to pump as much damage as I can while trying to line the hunter. The mage has to block here. I feel like the priest is going to MD, so I try to Garrote, but I wasn't able to get it off in time. So from here we're in a pretty bad spot. I'm trying to get as much damage as I can when the mage is still alive. He ends up dying, but I'm able to kill the priest, so now it's just me 1v1 in this hunter. So yeah, I just wanted to show this clip because there's going to be a lot of times where maybe your partner dies and you're going to have to 1v1 as a rogue. And there's a lot of things you can do to help win the match. So I'm going to go ahead and show you. I go ahead and gouge this hunter and kidney him. And then I'm going to shift the pet. That way I can get a re-stealth. And I go ahead and bandage up a few ticks. So I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit where I get some health and the hunter gets the eye here. While they have the eye, they take increased damage, so I'm going to go ahead and cheap shot him. Kidney here. He has no trinket, so he has to sit this. And from here I'm able to blind him. Go ahead and use my slice and dice with my extra common points and shift the pet again. I'm going to try to get another re-stealth. Go ahead and use the pillar, get that re-stealth. Now my shadow step's almost up, so I'm going to go ahead and shadow step him soon, and he's off cheap shot and kidney DR, so I'm going to try to stun him before his trinket's back up in 10 seconds. Go ahead and cheap shot him here. Into a kidney. So yeah, he has trinket up soon, but it's kind of late, so I would kind of maybe just hold it if I was him. So here I get scatter trapped. I'm going to wait for the trap, trinket. Try to get one more rupture on him. He actually deturns here, so I'm gonna line of sight a bit, shift the pet, maybe try to get one more re-stealth. He sends the pet off me, which is actually really good for me. Here I'm just spamming my stealth key, get out of combat, get a re-stealth. So now that I got a re-stealth, I'm just slowly making my way to him. I'm actually gonna switch to my dagger here and shadow step ambush him, and that's the game. Alright, so next game we're fighting Druid Warrior. I'm gonna go ahead and try to find this Druid. I'm not sure why the mage didn't invis, but I guess he's just going to 1v1 the warrior while I look for the druid. I go ahead and find him, shadow step cheap shot, into a Garrote, put a rupture on. I probably should have kidney instead of rupture, but go ahead and blind the warrior on his trinket. And I'm waiting for the mage to try to get in line of sight, and then I'm going to kidney. And it's a kind of a short kidney, so maybe that's why the druid didn't trinket, but that was a big mistake because he ended up just dying. So next game, we're fighting Mage Shadow Priest. So I go ahead and sap the mage. I cheap shot the priest. I cloak the poly. And I actually have mind poison on my dagger, so I go ahead and get that on and then switch to my sword. And I'm trying to put some dots on the priest while the mage is getting CC'd. He actually blocks the other CCs, so I go ahead and trinket and blind him. And now I have Garrote and Rupture on the priest, and I eviscerate. And that's it, the priest is dead. Here I cheap shot and I gouge in case he blinks, but I did a little early. So I'm gonna get one more re-stealth, and I'm letting the mage 1v1 each other, but he kind of gets owned. So now it's just me and the mage 1v1ing, and I eviscerate him. He's gonna blink. I shadow step kidney him. He ice blocks, but he gets me in a Nova, but luckily I have one combo point, and I try to start running for this pillar. He gets me in an ice lance with arcane missiles, but I deadly throw. So luckily I survive with cheat death, and I'm able to get a re-stealth. I go ahead and fast forward a bit to where I'm eating, and he's trying to get the eye, so I go ahead and shadow step sap him. I cheap shot him before his pet gets me out. He blinks, but he doesn't go very far, so I'm able to cloak and then catch up to him, eviscerate him, and that's the game. Okay, now moving on to some of these duels against this warrior. He resists my cheap shot. I Vanish cheap shot him, eviscerate him, shiv him, and now I pop my evasion, put a rupture on him, and I'm kind of just kiting a bit while I'm using my energy, waiting for my energy bar to retick, and kind of kiting him. He blocks my gouge, but I'm able to shiv him again, and now I'm just trying to get out of his range. He switches to a two-hander, so I'm gonna kidney him here. He trinkets, and I blind him, and since he's in battle stance, I'm actually able to stab him and wait for my DRs to reopen. Okay, so now I'm just waiting in between these bleed ticks. Gonna sap him. I'm gonna skip a little further ahead here. I garrote him, try to kidney him, it gets resisted. I go ahead and trinket the sphere, prep, vanish, cheap shot, that gets resisted too. So now I have evasion up. I'm trying to get a eviscerate with all my bleeds. So even though I have evasion, I'm kiting him a little bit while I'm waiting on my energy. It's me pretty low here. So I'm actually trying to get one more hemo off, but I end up winning the duel with a melee swing. Okay, so starting out, I'm fighting this other warrior. Go ahead and go in. I had a pre-med, I garrote and rupture. Try to get exposed armor on him. I'm just doing as much damage as I can while I have evasion up. He has a shield on, so he's not going to take too much, but the trick is here you don't want to stun them too in the beginning, because then they'll get second wind and they'll start healing. So I got disarmed here, so I go ahead and shadow step shiv him, and I start kiting him. I'm just waiting for this disarm. Okay, so after this disarm, I'm going to go ahead and wait between my bleed ticks, vanish, cheap shot, it gets resisted. So I go ahead and shiv him again to reapply my crit poison, and I'm going to gouge him here. He's going to Berserker Rage, and I blind him to bait his trinket, and then into a full kidney, and that's pretty much the duel. I can Vanish cheap shot after this, and it's pretty much over. As you see, it kind of gave up. Alright, if you guys like commentary videos like this, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe down below. Until next time, I'll see you guys in TBC.